Hello everyone and welcome to the FIA Nations Cup round number 5. We're here in the Group 2 Nissan GT-R and we're at Yamagiwa II. So the reverse version of the Yamagiwa circuit. This is qualifying and as you can see we've nailed the fuel absolutely perfectly. We're going to have a really low fuel run. And we didn't actually practice very much for this. We have done one race previous to this. It didn't go quite as well. We got about mid-pack. So this time we'd had a little bit more practice, obviously about 20 more minutes practice plus the race previous. So we're hoping to get a little bit further up the grid. We were only doing this after the manufacturer's race. Now the manufacturer's race, which would normally be before this because I do the races normally in order, I'm leaving because, or leaving to another day because I want to talk about the manufacturers later on. Even so, you can see we're purple there in that first sector. It's all very well and good. We're going to come down this hill now. This chicane can be very, very sketchy. You've got to try and nail this right. Usually you cut back to the right here, get that curb, go to the left, then really chuck it into the right. Try and go over the curb there. During the first race, people were saying use 4th gear. I used 4th gear this time. Look, we are still purple. 7 thousandths up on P1 at this moment in time. Can we do it through this right-hander? Balancing that throttle, making sure we don't brake, using the curve on the inside to pull us around a little bit as now we head up the hill. We're just catching up to somebody else here as we come down this hill. 1.5 temps up now, coming down the hill. Can we maintain this speed through the left? Look at that, flat out through. There we go. The amount of downforce on these Group 2 cars is absolutely astonishing. Into the right hander, a little bit of dirty air there, just picking that up. That's going to harm our exit a little bit. But a little bit slipstream, heading towards this line. What time are we going to get? It is a 122.6, so nearly 2 temps up there on P1 at this moment in time. And we'll just see whether a Sultanator or anybody else jumps ahead of me. A Sultanator, not somebody you've seen very often on this channel, usually in the second split. This time I made the top split, so congratulations to him. And look at that, he just gets ahead of me there, under a tenth there. So without that dirty air, potentially we may have got that pole position, which is quite unbelievable with very little practice. But look at Matty just getting in there as well. Matty 278 lives just down the road from me, but just managed to beat me to it there for P2. So what's going to happen in the race? Well, first of all, there's a Sultanator. We'll run through the grid as per normal. There's Matty 278. Top 3 Brits there. GTA Tidgney, myself of course there. P4 RGT Welland. Again, we don't really see Welland that often anymore. P5 Tuscany there. In P6 OP34. In P7 it's Raffle Waffle. A little bit further down than expected there. Indian Food in P8. P9 we have VP Beloff. Big shout out to Beloff. It's been a while since I've met Beloff. Parata in P10. Parata was struggling a little bit at this combo. He's P Aguilar in P11. P12, TRL Aug all the way down in P12, that's quite unbelievable. P13, we've got Adria. P14, IRT Nisman. P15, we've got Nick. In P16, we've got Jazz Bekevka. And then P17, we've got Gian Ludwier. I don't know if I said that right, I apologise if so. So, let's have a look at that fuel map first of all. Fuel map 6. So, Group 2 cars, it's always about fuel saving. So, a little trick that you can do at the start. But fuel map 6, the minute the grid comes on, it will save a tiny bit of fuel, which is what you want to do. So, you can see there, I stay at fuel map 2 straight away. So, that's my strategy for this one. I sort of worked out that fuel map 2 will help my tyres a little bit. So, later on in the stint, my tyres should be better than everybody else's. And also, it will save that little bit of fuel. So, that was my goal in this. Welland just getting a little bit closer as we now come into this first corner. You've got to be very careful this first corner. Very easy to get a penalty there. Got to watch out for it. Heading towards this right-hander now. And we're also just going to get used to the car a little bit more. As I say, we've not done that much practice. You can see Welland getting very close to us there. Just running a little bit deep, but coming back at us here. As now we head down the hill to this chicane for the first time. Not really an overtaking place, this chicane. You've really just got to go a line astern, basically, one by one through here, and then go for your move on the exit and hope the other guy makes a mistake as well. But using fuel map 2, much safer through there. No wheel spin, we can just accelerate through as normal. Losing a bit of time to Matty and the Sultanator there. Again, it's just because we don't have that strength at this combo at this point in time, because we haven't done that much practice. Heading up the hill now, again fuel map 2. This is where we're going to struggle a little bit. Once we get to near the top of the revs, that's where we'll benefit. But coming down here now, do we lift? No, look at that, flat out. Unbelievable downforce in these cars. You can't do that in a Group 3 car, that is for sure. Coming into this right-hander now. All feel absolutely fine. But look at Welland here, 3 tenths down on me. He's going to have the slipstream in fuel map 2, so I'm accelerating much slower than he is. So I just go to the right hand side. My goal here is to fuel save more than anything. So if Welland goes for the move, as he does here, I'm going to let him have it a little bit. So a little bit of contact there. He did try and be safe. That was literally just a tiny bit of contact. I have no issues with that whatsoever. So Welland gets that position. Now going to this right-hander. Just outbrakes himself. Cuts a lot of that right-hand side. And unfortunately for Welland, that's a 5.9 second. A huge penalty for only the slightest of cuts. And you do have to be careful of that in Gran Turismo Sport. Through the right-hander we go. You can see Welland is probably going to be really frustrated with himself. 5.9 second penalty. It's a huge penalty for the slightest of cuts, as I say. So, instantly I know this, so I'm just going to back out a little bit, let Welland take the corner. I think Welland's just then going to try and get out of the way as fast as he can. There you go. And instantly goes into that penalty zone. I did see the brakes go on beforehand. Not sure whether the penalty glitch is used or not. I don't know. Looking at the time lost, potentially not. I say I'm not 100% sure. You've seen recently in other live streams that it is being used more and more and more. So hopefully PD do bring in something to fix that. Even so, let's get back to the race. P3 at this point in time with 2 seconds off Matty, 3 seconds off Assaultinator, who's really charged into the distance. And Tidgney is only just behind me there with 3 tenths of a second. As we leave here now, begin lap number 3. This is of course the highlights. The live stream is in the description. I forgot to mention that at the start as well. Live stream is in the description if you want to watch this full race. But of course, I'd say it's highlights. So in 1 second or so, we are about to jump forward quite substantially actually to lap number 7. So, why have I jumped here? Well, first of all, you can see the gap to Matty. It's sort of stayed quite stagnant. You're going to see me gain on him a little bit now because the tyre wear that I have, as I said, fuel map 2 helps with tyre wear, is going to be slightly a bit better, and Matty's going to be struggling a little bit in some areas. Top end speed, he'll start accelerating, but look, again, down to 1.7 now. We're pulling away from Tidgney. Tidgney's been on fuel map 1 as well. We find that out later on in the race, in the chat room afterwards, because he says, Tidgney, you've deceived me, because he realizes I've been fuel saving this entire time. So actually, my goal is to actually get into the lead here, because I'm only 4 seconds off, and if the fuel saving's been that good, hopefully we've done it and we can make that place. As you see, we lost a little bit of time to Matty in the chicane. We'll pull it back through that corner there. Matty's struggling a little bit with grip, as I say. We've managed to hold our tyres that little bit better, which is helping us at the end of this stint. Going down the hill now. Through the right-hander, then the left, still flat. I find it amazing how we're flatting these cars down that hill. It just shows you how downforce works in this game. Because I say you can't do that in a Group 3 car. You definitely cannot. So, coming out this corner, we're going to head to the right side now, and we're going to head into the pits. 32, 31, 44 fuel. That is the difference there with that fuel saving. Waffle doing something very... Was it Waffle? No, Indian Food, sorry. 45 there. So, obviously, Indian Food going for a very similar strategy as we then go to leave the pits. Where do we come out? There's the Assaultinator, only just ahead of me. So, if we'd have done it a little bit better, maybe practiced a little bit more, potentially we would have got the lead there. But we're in P2. Matty is 1 second behind us. So, our fuel saving did work. So, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, good shout here. We're potentially on for a victory. Because if we can start pulling that gap in later on, potentially Assaultinator may have underfueled. I don't know. We may have a shot here at the win. So, Quintus right-hander. You can see the gap is just staying about the same there. We get a good bit of exit, but we're going to advance to the last lap. And the gap is still the same. We pulled the gap to Matty. Again, our tyres are in really good condition here. We've actually been catching the Assaultinator a little bit. Then we had to back off. We realised we... so when you look at the fuel on your steering wheel, I normally just spin it right left once, because usually I'm in fuel map 1. Unfortunately for me, I'm in fuel map 2. So I spun it left once and I ran through it for a little while and then realised I was like, oh no, I'm going to run out of fuel. So I had to fuel save a little bit. So that gap went under a second. It then went up to 2 seconds. And now we're bringing it back a little bit again, back in that fuel map 2. We have 0.5 laps of fuel remaining, so we know we're going to make it to the end. Only just mind, but we are going to make it. But yeah, not a huge amount of action in this one. More about strategy with the fuel map, how the fuel map works. In Group 2 cars, my best tip would be to use fuel map 2 quite a lot. I think it's quite significant. You don't lose that much power, and you manage to save quite a lot more fuel. I am reasonably happy with that, as I say. Very little practice. My main focus was manufacturers, where we did have a good shout in that race. So that will be the next race that comes up on the channel. there's your final results. So Indian Food actually going up to P4 there, doing a similar strategy, saving fuel, managing to get ahead. TRL Aug moved up 6 positions there. Few movers and shakers in that grid. I hope you enjoyed this race. As always, my logo is there if you want to subscribe. A video playlist there if you want to watch another one of the fantastic races of GT Sports on the channel. But that's it for me for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.